This whittling project is about turning this piece of wood into this sleeping cat figure. These sketches are something I prepared to help with that. This is the side view and this is the top view. And this shape right here is the first step of the process. Again, side view and top view. I'm drawing some rough outlines on the wood, removing excess and drawing again. The second step is to give the face a rough outline. That's easy to do with these V-cuts where I cut from the opposing sides like this. As a little side note, I suggest using green wood or at least soaking a piece of wood in water to make it easier to carve. I let this piece soak completely submerged for a day and it's much easier to carve now. The third step is giving the face some depth, and for that it helps to draw some of the facial features like this so that everything is cut in the right angle. This neck groove should only be on this side, leaving extra wood on the other side, because when we carve the face, the head is going to lose some of that depth. So for now, this is the kind of shape we're looking for. Step number 4 is the ears. Just a few sweeping cuts is enough to form the ears a little bit, and then we can reveal the top of the head by removing wood with some more sweeping between the ears. Again, when uncertain, it's better to sketch on the wood a little and then continue. Here I'm defining the outer edges of the ears and how they connect to the sides of the head. The fifth step is giving the snout and the lower parts of the face their basic shape. I'm carefully creating a slight curve like this on the sides of the jaw and then on the top of the snout. Step number 6 is iterating the previous steps to fix some details and define the features a little better. Here I can see that the forehead is too big and round, and then I'm also lining up the ears to be side by side also from the top of the head angle. Now that the basic shapes of the head are well defined and I know I won't need to move the ears any further back, it's time to slim them down from behind. Then I'm adding a little more roundness to the snout with very small and careful cuts, and also defining the lower parts of the face with this kind of inward curve. After all this iteration, we can move on to step 7, which is slimming down the front of the upper body. Eventually, we'll need to create this groove between the front and the hind limbs. An important thing to remember is that the limbs are flatter than the rest of the body, especially near the paws. This means that we'll need to carve a kind of downhill that starts from the back, curves along the limbs and ends in the paws. Step 8 is creating a groove to separate the tail from the rest of the body. V-cuts are again useful here, although I'm also then rounding out the tail a bit afterward. Then it's time to make the groove between the limbs. Before this, the front of the body should slim down nicely towards the snout and the end of the tail. The shape also becomes more lively by adding this kind of a slight inward curve or a dent. Now for the actual grooves. The main cut here is basically a different version of the V-cut because it's just two opposing cuts that connect to remove the wood in between. However, you can see here that the cuts are curved, which definitely makes this slightly more difficult. Then I'm using a similar technique to clean up all the grooves I made, but this time I try not to press the tip of the blade into the wood, but only shape the sides to be a little cleaner. Then some slight adjustments again. The final step is making the eyes, and the technique is the same as with the previous grooves. Except with this you gotta be really careful because the face is less forgiving than the sides. Sketching really helps with precision and symmetry. I coated this cat of mine with some mineral oil because the stripes suited so well that I wanted to highlight the color.